there's been reports that the team has given Trey Lance private indications that he's a starting quarterback. Is that true? And he laughed and he's like, no, absolutely not. We believe in competition here. We believe in Trey Lance, but he's going to have to show us that he's ready. We believe that he's ready, but he's going to have to show us that he's ready is what they said. What do you think of that answer?
Well, I think it's a very weak answer. The correct answer is Trey Lance is ready.
Right.
Not we believe.
Believe.
We believe means we don't know.
Right.
And after all this time, even if you don't believe it, you got to say Trey Lance is ready. Now, when he says we believe in competition, they're trying to trade the other guy. Right. So right. Who's the competition? He's Iggy. He is talking out of 7 sides of his mouth.
Right. And that's not good for a general manager. No. You want to have, if your job is to be the mouthpiece of the organization, get your story straight.
Right.
And again, he brings in faith and religious words, right? So he says, we believe in Trey Lance, but he has to show it. Then you don't believe. If right. You have to see it, then you don't believe, right? You're talking about faith now and belief. The whole thing about faith is you don't get to see. You got to actually take the leap, put him in the game, make him your starter. If you named him your starter, that would be belief. To say you believe it, but he has to show it means I don't believe it.
And it means after all this time and after all these draft picks we gave up, we don't know nothing.
Yeah.
I
don't believe in God. Nothing. He just has to show himself to me.
Yeah. I believe in him, but he has to prove it.
He just has to be. If Jesus exists, he would just be here right now and say so. See? Okay. Well, I'm open-minded. I'm definitely, he might do that one day. That's great. John?
Yeah. Okay. Before we move on,
yes.
John, I know you and I liked you at Stanford. I don't know you anymore, but Iggy, let's put a grade on his performance yesterday at the presser. Let's put a grade. Do you want me to go first?
Yes.
Okay. Everybody, hold on a second. I'm debating between a D- and an F. I mean, I couldn't give any. Iggy, I'm going to have to say an F.
Ooh. I was going to lean D-.
You're going to do what?
At least I was going to lean D-. He at least spoke English. You know what I mean? He didn't walk out mid-interview. He didn't lose his cool. He tried to be diplomatic. I feel like that's D range.
When you say he didn't do gobbledygook the way
he didn't get mad at anyone. He didn't make a spectacle. He failed. He definitely failed. But F is like pulling out the projector and like talking, that's an Al Davis range. But I don't know. What do you think?
I'll tell you why I give him the F.
Okay.
The prelude when he asked us.
Oh, that was all time.
That was weak. That alone is an F.
Yeah, it's
when he begged not to ask about Debo.
Yeah, it was like, which Dickens book is that where can I have some more, please? Just some more, please. Please, guys, don't ask me about it. Like, oh man, are you kidding? And what was so bad about it is asking for it and then not getting it and then just sitting there and answering the questions anyway. Like, ooh. You could have just been like, that's all you're going to ask me about today. That's it. And like, you made a big scene. I've seen people do that. That's pretty weak, though. He just took it. Oh, well.
It was Oliver Twist you're referring to.
Oliver Twist. Thank you. HR says, I LOL at the faithful who dump on Grant for being an actual journalist and not drinking the Niner PR Kool-Aid. FYI, he's not supposed to be a fan. Go back and watch that interview, that press conference, and just note which beat writers never asked a question about Debo, because almost all of them did, to their credit. I'm so proud of our beat for doing that yesterday.
Can I say that?
Yeah.
Shout out to the beat writers.
I'm so proud because when he did that, I was like, we're going to back down. And then Tim, Matt, Cam, I was like, oh, I love you guys. I was so proud. I love all them. My heart is so full for them right now. Good job.
I'm glad you feel that way.
I do. Giovanni says, Papa Cohen, who is more talented, Steve Young or Joe Montana? Rings don't matter. And do you see the Niners ever winning a Super Bowl again? 2 questions.
Oh, boy.
Who's more talented, Steve Young or Joe Montana? Rings don't matter.
This is hard. I'm going to not quite answer it. And talent. I think Steve may have been more talented. I think Joe was a better quarterback. And I know Steve and I would talk about it, and it would offend him when I would say that. I love you, Steve. I'm sorry. I think you're more talented. I think Joe was a better quarterback. Do I think the 49ers will ever win a Super Bowl again? I don't know. Let me put it like this. This York ownership falls short.
Yes.
They fall short. And I am skeptical of this group ever winning a Super Bowl.
Fair. Let's go back to the first question. That's a little bit before my time, but if I remember correctly, I was a fan of the team, and the perception at the time was Steve was probably just as talented as Joe, if not more talented, but there was something about Joe's temperament, right? Like in these big games, he was even better. When the pressure was on, he was even better. And Steve wasn't like that right away, right? He had some bad performances in big playoff games against the Cowboys early on, and people were like, well, Joe would have won that game, right? So I think that was a little, in terms of talent, Steve was as talented as maybe any quarterback ever, but Joe had this intangible that no one else could match.
And for what it's worth, Bill Walsh would never say who was a better quarterback between those two. But he did say to me, Steve was the best athlete he ever coached as a quarterback. He did say that. But that doesn't mean he was a better quarterback.
No, and didn't you say that before Bill died, he was watching tape of Joe Montana, and he calls you and he says, it's perfect, Lowell. Everything's perfect.
He had fallen in love with Joe all over again.
Everything's perfect. So like the footwork, the timing, the ball placement, the spiral, you know, everything. I mean, with Joe, like he could put the ball, but so could Steve. So Steve was extremely accurate too. Good question. Baby Ward the Fourth is a new member. Thank you for joining the community. That Niner guy says, I'm tired of my team insulting my intelligences in every presser with John and Kyle. It is their biggest flaw, always saying they are in control.
I love that comment.
I love it. Niners Breakdown says, why didn't any reporter ask about the dinner between John, Kyle, and Debo? And why hasn't Iggy and every other Niner fan subscribed to my channel? I will. I mean, what he said was, don't ask me specific details about this negotiation. So if we said, have you made an offer? He could always say, I said I wouldn't do that. So everyone was kind of asking around the question, right? I'll ask about Debo, but not specifics of the negotiation. I think that was kind of the deal we were trying to do. I don't know. I could be wrong. Jason says, love the Cohn Zone. Lowell the GOAT. Just wondering, can Debo deny a trade to a certain team, or do the Niners have complete control over the trade? That's a great question. Any team that's going to trade for Debo is going to have to sign an extension to him. Otherwise, you don't want him. If you're just trading for the same problem the Niners have. So that's what makes this difficult. The Niners have to kind of like negotiate a deal with the team now. That team has to negotiate a contract with Debo now, and then they have to pull it off on draft night. It's going to be hard. I don't think they're going to do it.
But Iggy, they have time after draft night.
Sure, but if the Niners want the draft, like the picks from this draft to replace if they want something now, they might need to do it now. Unless they want to get like a player in return for Debo, they could do that.
So Iggy, like the first night of the draft, what's that, Thursday night? The Niners don't have a pick, but you have to sit there drinking coffee because in case they do something, right?
That's my night, just in case. So like the Niners and Jets could have a deal in place right now. Let's say the Niners say, if so-and-so wide receiver is available when you pick at 10, we'll do this trade. Otherwise, it's off. And the wide receiver is available. They do the trade. The Niners get the 10th pick. They get their replacement. That could happen. Maybe the Jets are willing to give the Niners whatever they want, 2 first-round picks. Otherwise, it's probably not going to happen. It's a lot to ask.
And the Jets, because Kyle and Salah are just so close.
Well, Salah's really desperate. It seems like most teams give a coach 3 years to do something. The Jets in New York, they're a little faster. It's 2, and they had a bad year last year. And I think Salah feels like, if I have another losing season, they can fire me. So he might do something.
My heart goes out to Salah. I think he's, I'm going to use a cliche, I think he's absolutely a stand-up guy.
I agree. And the Jets are a terrible organization.
Yeah,
so
he's a stand-up guy.
One bad Niner says, our leadership is a joke. I hate the Rams, but at least they'll go all in to try to win. Guess what? They did.
Yeah.
And it was funny. The guy running the Rams, the coach over there is John McVay's grandson.
Indeed he is.